Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. His office revealed the diagnosis yesterday, saying that it had spread to his bones. It was found after a nodule was discovered. The statement goes on to say that while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The news has led to an outpouring of support from leaders across the political spectrum. President Donald Trump saying, quote, he's wishing Biden a fast and successful recovery. And Biden's old boss, former President Barack Obama, praised his ability to fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. Joining me now to discuss, Dr. Jamin Brahmbhatt, urologist at Orlando Health Medical Group Urology. Good morning to you. Welcome to CNN This Morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
So I want to start with what we heard there, that this cancer is hormone sensitive. I think prostate cancer is extremely common for older men. Can you talk about what it means for treatment, this aspect of the hormone sensitivity?
So we diagnose over 300,000 men with prostate cancer a year. Out of those, only about 5 or 7% we will diagnose like President Biden's diagnosis, where they already have metastases through the rest of their body. So we do have lots of treatment options, but because it's already metastasized, because it's already elsewhere, the options are also very limited. So we can't do anything that's curative. You can't cure it. So I saw some of these statements where he'll have a recovery, we support, but the reality is the cancer is always going to stay with him. So the treatments that are out there are more medical based, either hormone treatments, steroid treatments, radiation treatments. They're all there to stabilize the cancer or slow down its progression.
So I'm hearing you saying this movement to his bones, this is really the development that is remarkable here and what will make it so difficult.
Absolutely. Like if it wasn't in his bones and it was localized, the life expectancy is almost 100% over 5 years. But in individuals like him, it would be about 37% over the next 5 years.
We have been seeing the former president doing interviews. He attended the funeral for the Pope. Can you talk about, from a practical standpoint, what kind of impact treatment or even dealing with the disease can have on a person's day-to-day life?
To be honest with you, this week alone, I've diagnosed like 4 men with prostate cancer. 2 of them were just like President Biden. Majority of men can live normal lives. They can, and they can be functional. But it just all depends on how these treatments are doing and how the body's reacting to them. So these treatments are great. They can definitely control the cancer, but they're also very high risk in terms of some of the side effects. So I think he can be normal. I see a lot of my patients that are normal, that can function, can drive, can do the things they want to do, continue on with their jobs. But if the cancer progresses and there is pain in the bones, there is excessive fatigue or hot flashes, other side effects, then they may be limited. For President Biden, I think it's just way too early. Like, everyone's being very positive. We should, but we won't know how these treatments are working. We don't even know how many of these treatments him and the family are going to choose to move forward with.
And I understand that's part of the difficult decision making, right? You talked about diagnosing people. I can't imagine what those conversations are like.
Yeah, and they can be very, very tough. I know when I have to diagnose cancer in the office, like, it's a very sensitive, emotional conversation. So I think the best thing that we can do as a public is give them their time, give them their space, and then let's see what happens over time. I think love and support goes a long way. And this is what I tell all family members, not just the patients in my office, but I would say the public right now as well, for former President Biden.
Dr. Jamin Brahmbhatt, he's a urologist at Orlando Health Medical Group. Thank you for your time.
CNN's Arlette Saenz is joining us right now with a look at what this means and what this could mean going ahead. Arlette, what are you learning this morning?
Well, okay, President Joe Biden is at his home in Wilmington, Delaware with his family as they are reviewing the next steps of what treatment will look like after he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. Now, to provide a bit of a timeline here, last Monday, we learned that Biden recently was evaluated after a small nodule was found on his prostate. A statement that was released yesterday by his personal office, they said that he had had been experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. Then this last Friday, he in fact received that prostate cancer diagnosis that has metastasized to his bones. Now, Biden's and his family and a team of doctors will now be working to determine what that treatment will look like. But certainly this is a moment that is quite challenging and devastating for the president's family, as well as many political allies. There has been an outpouring of support from both sides of the aisle since this diagnosis was announced. Yesterday, President Donald Trump, who Biden had faced off against in 2020 and 2024, posted on social media with lending his support, saying, "Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery." Biden's former Vice President Kamala Harris, also posting on social media, "Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength and resilience and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership." And he also got some well wishes from former President Barack Obama, who had noted that nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe. And that's an important point, because Biden and his family have had a long connection to cancer and loss as well. Of course, his son, Beau Biden, had passed away from brain cancer in 2015. And then the years that followed, Biden really worked hard to champion what he called the Cancer Moonshot Initiative to try to end cancer research now, or to fund cancer research. Now, this all comes as Biden's legacy has been challenged in recent weeks, as our colleague Jake Tapper has a new book coming out detailing some signs of mental and health and decline in Biden while he was in office. So there has been some added scrutiny, but certainly this is a challenging time for the Bidens. I'll also note May is always a difficult period, as the passing of Beau Biden is on May 30th. Biden's cancer diagnosis came 2 weeks before the 10-year anniversary of his son's passing.
Arlette, thank you so much for the update. Really appreciate it.
All right, let's welcome in Dr. Kirtland DeVille, a radiation oncologist, the medical director of the Johns Hopkins Proton Therapy Center, and a professor of radiation oncology, at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. He joins us this morning from Washington. Doctor, great to have you this morning. So just based off this statement, what we know is the cancer is aggressive, but appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. What does that mean to you? What does management or treatment options look like here?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. And he does have very good treatment options when the prostate cancer is first diagnosed. Generally is hormone sensitive, meaning it responds to hormone manipulation and essentially treatments that remove testosterone from the body. And prostate cancer generally is feeding and fueling off of testosterone. And so those would be early effective treatments for men with very advanced or metastatic prostate cancer. And they immediately act to slow down, delay the progression and the spread of the cancer.
And a lot of people have to wonder, I mean, this is a former president, longtime politician. He has to have access to the best doctors in the world. Why wasn't this caught sooner?
Yeah, I think those are questions that we all have when we see patients. We're wondering, could we have caught this sooner? We don't want patients to progress to the metastatic state because they won't be curable. Again, certainly treatable, but not curable. And so our best outcomes are when this is caught at an early stage. There are scenarios there where patients can be followed. Well, I should say two things. First off, our national screening guidelines talk about stopping screening actually when a man reaches age 70 if they have normal risk and don't have particular risk factors for prostate cancer or haven't had an elevated PSA. So stopping at age 70 or when there's a life expectancy less than 10 years. So it's quite possible that men at his age are no longer being screened for prostate cancer. Someone like the president, you would presume, was still having their PSA blood test and the digital rectal exam on an annual basis for screening, potentially. There are scenarios the PSA blood test may remain low and not reach the threshold of pursuing further workup in a biopsy until it was much further along, the cancer was much further along in its state, so that it's possible to occur.
And not curable at this stage. So what's the survival rate?
So 5-year survival for men who are diagnosed, are metastatic at the time of diagnosis, only about 30 to 40%, about a third of men will be alive in 5 years. And so, there are treatments. Our goal at this time always is to maximize that survival rate, hopefully, be on the further end of it. And really, I say allow men to live their normal lifespan, but under treatments, generally hormone-based, that are trying to prolong and delay the spread and maximize their survival with a good functional state as well. These are treatments that are generally well tolerated and not as toxic as other things like chemotherapy or surgery.